This is me, writer, photographer, and traveler extraordinaire. But I wasn't always like this. I used to have a job. That's right, I used to be an environmental scientist living in Alaska, but it wasn't enough. So I traded my suit and tie for a plane ticket, and I've never looked back. I've been traveling for almost a decade now, and since that time I've hiked amazing trails and bicycled across 12 countries. I've paddled Arctic water and climbed ancient glaciers. I've gone spelunking in Asia and horseback riding in South America. I've gone sailing through pirate-infested waters and surfing at the edge of the world. I've gone paragliding in Peru and explored waterfalls in the Philippines. I've seen amazing sunsets and breathtaking mountainsides. I've been a part of unique cultures and eaten strange, exotic foods. I've even listened to many different kinds of music. And of course, I've taken lots of photos along the way. Over the last 8 years, I've been to so many different places and seen so many different things, I thought it'd be a shame not to share it. So that's just what I did. So welcome and thanks for joining me, Cyle ODonnell, as I explore and research amazing places and cultures from all over the globe. This is no tourist video. I go deep into the jungles and find wild animals. I trek out to the faraway villages and see life the way people live there. I do what they do and go where they go. I eat what they eat and sleep where they sleep. I visit distant islands and climb steaming volcanoes. And I do it all because I'm the travel geek. I start my journey in the capital city, Manila. From there, it's a full day's ride to get out of the city and head for the base of Mount Pinatubo. After exploring the mountain, it's off to 100 Islands National Park, just off the coast of Alaminos. After that, I take another long trip through the mountains of Ifugao, stopping in Bontoc and Bonawe, and ending up in the home of native headhunters, Sagada. New Year's Eve, I head back to Manila and take an early morning flight to Cebu. The next 2 seafaring days will be spent aboard shipping boats and cruise lines via Iloilo and Cuyo. I'll spend a day on each of these islands, exploring and relaxing on the beach before hitting my last port, Puerto Princesa. And finally, I'll spend my last day exploring an underground river in the island of Palawan. From its bustling capital to its island getaways, the Philippines should be on everybody's trip list. With about 96 million people, the Philippines is home to an extensive variety of cultures. Gridlocked for 16 hours out of each day, Manila alone has more than 12 million people. But as soon as you get out of the cities, you see why Filipinos enjoy such a carefree existence. Boasting unbelievable geography and pristine national parks, this is a premier destination for any rugged traveler. If all 11 countries in Southeast Asia were in a family, the Philippines would be the black sheep. The Islamic movement that made its way around the southern reaches of Southeast Asia in the 16th century was abruptly halted in the Philippines by a Portuguese explorer named Ferdinand Magellan, and in March 1521 claimed all the islands for Spain. Catholicism has thrived there ever since. Much of the land outside the major cities is undeveloped and has a multitude of great scenery and wildlife. This is where I like to spend most of my time, because the people are laid back, the food is better, the amenities cheaper, and the tempo a little slower. Welcome to the Philippines. The first thing I could think about when I got into Manila was how to get the hell out of Manila. It wasn't 15 minutes in and the pollution was already giving me a headache. So it's off to the outskirts for me. What you see when you start getting away from the city seems like normal life in the majority of the Philippines. My agenda had me headed straight to Mount Pinatubo via Angeles, but what I found out almost immediately was navigation, if you're not using travel agents, package tours, or commercial buses, can be a bit confusing.
So how do I get to the sort of jeepney that goes there?
Aboard jeepneys and other forms of local transportation, you're bound to run into some interesting characters, and because almost everyone's related in the smaller towns, you're also likely to get the best deals on places to stay and local restaurants.
That was a jeepney. Those things are amazing. They look like huge tankers, armed vehicles or something, but they transport everything from cattle and all, like kids and all kinds of cool stuff. They actually brought us here today to Village O'Donnell, which is near and dear to my heart because that's my name. Filipinos are really, really friendly people, and they've helped us get everywhere we needed to be today. I met on the jeepney has a brother who owns this place here, and this is Wendell's shop. Tomorrow we're going to try to head up to Pinatubo, Mount Pinatubo, in a 4x4. And just coincidence has it that the brother of the person that we were talking to on the jeepney is Wendell here.
I gotta say, even though we had made an arrangement for my room, and even though I was paying for other services, Wendell still ripped me off for the hotel bill in the morning. He was nice enough, but my advice, pay up front.
So this is the Jeep we're going to take tomorrow, right?
Yes.
This looks pretty rugged.
Yes.
How old is this?
1949.
1949.
Yeah, it's a wheelers Jeep.
Wow. Really?
President.
You're the big man in the whole area.
I'm in the whole campus. I'm the president of the whole.
Wow. Came to the right place. All right. So can you tell us what we're going to do tomorrow? And all that stuff?
I will bring you the breakfast in your room, 6 a.m. and then after breakfast, ride your forward drive going to the tourism office.
Now, I love Burt Baccarat, or whoever that was in the background, but to explain what Wendell was saying without the karaoke going on, is that the next day I was just going to head out to the mountain and have an awesome time. The most popular route up the mountain is normally taken from Manila. Guided tours can be booked for day-long and 2-day hikes with an overnight at the summit. The jumping off point is at Santa Juliana. I decided to start my trek a little closer. We've been dropped off at a military checkpoint, Barangay Hall, and we're about to drive 16 kilometers rather, by four-wheel drive up to what was described to be sort of a base camp. The guide has told us that when we leave here, they're going to prepare a meal, but when we leave, once we get to the base camp, there'll be another 12K up into the foot of what used to be the very tip of Mount Pinatubo. I'm currently sitting in what is a very common Filipino restaurant. Very basic, couple of tables, couple of chairs. Generally, the customers are expected to just grab a drink from the shelves here and eat. Now, in 1991, Mount Pinatubo exploded, and it didn't just erupt. It literally blew the top, physically separated and blew itself apart into thousands and thousands of little pieces. It actually blew a plume of smoke 40 kilometers into the air and wreaked havoc for weeks. Another thing that the guide said was that we'll probably be running into what is known as the Iga, which, as I understand it, are agricultural tribes that live in the area. I'm not sure if we're going to see any, but I hope so. See if we can snap a couple of pictures to the hike. It's supposed to be a nice, smooth ascent of a low gradient, so should be fun. So when our food comes out, we'll eat and be on our way. The mountain lies on military ground, so you have to sign yourself in, and everybody else is with you.
Your local guide, your Audi Reyes.
Hi.
Audi. Local guide.
You're the guide? Okay. Can we put all the gear in the inside there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Inside.
And so our guide here is going to bring us up right now, I think. So I better go. To get past the guard station, you have to pay a fee. It's about 2,500 pesos, or about 110 US. Your driver has to present your stamped payment, and then you're eligible to climb the mountain. Don't let anybody charge you extra for food with this fee. It's not guaranteed, and there are no restaurants along the way. Once you're past the gate, it's a really incredible 4x4 ride to the base camp. Along the way, there's some spectacular opportunities for photography, and the ride itself is pretty fun.